Welcome back to Studio Chatter. The needs of your family can sometimes be in conflict with your personal needs. Let's welcome Ashlee Stratton, a local influencer, to the chatter. Welcome, Ashlee.
Ashlee, you've been an influencer since you were a teenager.
I was going to say, I love that word, influencer.
I know.
It's so funny to hear that word, though, because you always imagine these people that are bigger and better than you are, you know?
Well, we always do, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's always bigger and better.
Yeah. So when I hear that word, I'm like, is that really me? But I guess it is.
Tell us about you.
Okay.
Who's Ashlee?
Who's Ashlee? Okay. I am a mom of 4, and I'm married to the love of my life. And and I love to read and write. I have a degree in English. I don't know if you knew that about me, but and I've written several children's books.
Have you published?
Wow. Not yet. I'm actually working with an illustrator right now to publish
really?
my children's books.
Wow.
Yeah.
We have an artist today. We should.
Oh my goodness.
It may be like the stars are aligning. Okay.
And I worked on some novels, and recently my biggest passion right now is my Instagram account that I've created for moms and setting goals.
So why did you start that? What got you down that path?
So like I said, I've had 4 kids in the past 8 years. And I just really love the self-improvement world. Like, I love reading self-help books. I love listening to podcasts. I love going to events or listening to webinars or chiming in. I love all of it.
I'm right there with you.
You know?
I love the facts. I love to gather facts.
I love it. And I love listening to influencers or people who have accomplished a significant goal. Figuring out how they did that is mesmerizing to me. It's one of my favorite things. And so I feel like before I had kids, I was able to set goals and accomplish them, and I felt like I was actually moving somewhere, getting traction.
And then you get kids,
and then I had kids.
You're like walking through the mud.
You're like, I don't want to do anything but get dressed today, maybe.
I'm so glad you all can relate.
Yes.
But I had my kids, and I would try to set a goal like I did before I had kids, and I found that didn't really work because before I was focused on me and my schedule, and I could plan things out and they'd work how I wanted to. And then I had kids, and then doing something like as simple as like a 30-minute workout, just trying to get into shape and have that goal, I'd stop to get someone a drink, or or change a diaper, or someone just has random needs, and so I thought, so I looked to the self-improvement world. I'm like, okay, there's got to be somewhere where I can go and see how to do this as a mom, right? Or how can I accomplish a goal but still put my family first? Because I don't want to go after my goals but put my family on the back burner, right? Because my family's the most important thing to me. And so I'm like, how do you do that? How do you find that balance? So when I looked in the self-improvement world and I was looking for answers, I'd be reading books or listening to podcasts, and I was like, but how does this apply to a mom? How does this work for a mom? And so I find that I didn't feel like there was someone out there speaking to that need. So I started an Instagram account specifically to answer the question, how can I go after my goals and still put my family first?
Isn't that so?
And what were some of the
balance.
responses that you started getting right away?
Oh, I feel like moms in general have just been like, this is so helpful to me, or this has really helped me just start a goal, or just even ideas of how to just put your family first or even involve your kids in your goals. So I talked to Amy Rasmussen. I know she's been on the show before. She has a clothing line, and she involves her kids in the clothing line. And I love that. Like, she was sharing how to involve her kids in with her goals. So you can still accomplish your goals and be teaching your kids along the way.
Because a lot of times as a mother, I think that we do feel like we have to give up ourselves and just focus on them.
Yep.
But then it's really hard to find that balance, like you said.
Yeah.
To like have a goal for ourselves and not feel like we're putting our kids on the back burner.
Yes.
That is such a fine line that
There's
I think
mom
we all
guilt that
ride.
associates with that. I believe, like, if you do something for yourself, there's automatically something that says, I'm being selfish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You know, or I want to try something new, and I'm just going to do it a couple of times a week, and even those 2 times a week are like, you're gonna be okay.
And sometimes I feel like it's okay to spend a little bit more time on us and a little less time on them. I mean, and then you balance it out along the way. But if I wasn't doing like evens, I would kind of feel guilty a little bit.
Right.
Or overcompensate.
I wish I could find this. I don't know where I found it, but they were comparing the time that moms spend with kids today, like a full-time mom that works compared to the moms that used to stay home, let's say in the 50s with their kids.
Right.
The time is really equal still with the kids, because even though that mom was home, oftentimes they weren't engaged. Now the mom that works is very self-aware of, when I'm home with the kids. And so it was only like 1 to 2 hours less a week.
Wow.
Really, I love
so
that.
I thought that's crucial for moms that
But
are
I can see
working.
we're out like running around in the streets and just, I don't know, playing with our friends
Yeah.
outside.
Back in the 50s, they could do that. Come back.
That was a different time though, too.
Yes,
We've talked about this
was.
before too. Like you can't do that anymore. Really, send the kids out and see you later. And
Right.
kids are so involved. Also, like I think there's even that pressure for moms to be like, well, you have to do piano, you have to do your
Yes.
schoolwork, you have to do this, and you're like, I have to be present for all of that.
Well,
like,
and
what
with
about me?
the technology and the media, it's a service and a disservice all at the same time. So I love that you're using it as a good tool for us.
Right.
Because so many times we get on Instagram and see all these people doing great things and feel like, how am I supposed to accomplish that?
Right. I just think it's so important too for moms just to know that they can, when they pop onto social media and they see my account, I just hope that it can provide them to think, okay, here's the next step that I'm going to take. Like, here's the next step in the right direction, you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think you get on social media and you get lost in the feed. But I hope when they do come to my account, they can just see it and then be inspired to take a step in the right direction from a mom who shared a story. Like when you guys were just talking, I had just interviewed a girl this week, and she talked about she loves the fact that she can learn and grow while her kids are learning and growing at school. So that they're sharing that experience together. Because a lot of times, I think as moms, like you said, you get the mom guilt, and you're like, oh, can I really do my thing? Or do I just have to sit with my kids all day and do nothing but just be with my kids?
Yeah.
But she's like, now that I have this avenue where I can go and have this creative outlet, when my kids do come home, then we can share that experience, like where we both learn and we
And you
both
do feel
grow
more
together.
engaged because you've been fulfilled throughout the day as well.
And I think kids
absolutely.
respect their mothers more too.
Yeah.
And
They
look
can
up to
see
them.
that. So tell us like how your week looks if they follow your Instagram, because you have it very scheduled and I love it.
Yeah, I really wanted it to be scheduled too.
I love it, 'cause I know.
I love structure.
Sometimes I go to influencers' accounts and it's just kind of all over the place and kind of messy, and I'm like, okay, I'm following you for this specific purpose, but then you've got this over here and this little thing over here, and I wanted it to be very, very crystal clear.
Like
when they come to
Mondays,
the
I
account.
post about this.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
yeah,
okay.
yep. So the first week of the month, so the first and third weeks of the month, I do an interview with a mom who's going after a goal, and I talked, and I've interviewed
There's Stacy.
and Stacy's been on my account,
Yes.
and so I interviewed them, and we talk about all different things related to family life and goal life, and I ask every mom I interview, do you feel like it's possible to go after your goals and put your family first? And so far, every single mom has said, not just yes, but they've said absolutely.
Okay, isn't that so reaffirming
Yes,
to all
right.
of us? You know,
Yes.
like, hey, other women feel like they can do it.
Yeah.
I think there's different stages too. So since you brought up the Stacy interview, you did interview Stacy, and Stacy has been very successful at both home and career. What's the magic? Like what was it for you?
What did I say?
What was it like? So you kind of had a young family, and then
Right.
started kind of a little later with maybe some of your career goals or some of the things that you've been
I
doing.
think
But
she quoted me and even made like this thing, like I say that, like I'm quoted. I think I said, you can have it all, but not at the same time.
At
I
certain
believe that.
stages,
There's
you
still
Or
can
you
have
can
it all.
have it all eventually,
Yeah.
too. I think that's what you said.
You can't just think you can have it all at 25 and everything. But the time will come. There's, if you choose to have kids, there are going to be sacrifices.
For sure.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so know that, but maybe in 10 to 15 years, that will start changing. And if you haven't done anything for yourself in that decade, that transition is going to be tough.
Rough.
When you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, everything about me was just being a mom, and now that's shifting and those kids don't need you anymore, and that's a hard avenue.
Right. I love that you said that. I interviewed Connie Sokol too, and she talked about it as seed bedding. So you can always be doing something to be planting a seed for a future goal or a future dream. Like even if you're in a time in your life where you're working a lot and you're giving a lot to your career, if you're a working mom, or if you're a young mom and your kids need you a lot, then there's always something you could be doing to be planting a seed
I love it.
for that
Yeah.
dream in the future.
A start, so you
Yeah.
feel like you're getting somewhere,
Yeah.
doing something.
And then when the
but it's little.
opportunity arises in the future, you're ready to take it.
Yep,
You know?
100% agree. Okay, so you said this first and third
Yes.
week are your interviews. Then what's the second
And then the
fourth?
second week, I highlight a book, and I always apply the book back to that question that I'm answering. can I put my family first and still go after my goals? So I try to highlight that question as I'm highlighting the book, and I'll find passages in the book, and then I'll break it down and talk about how it relates to motherhood and goals. And then the 4th week, I just talk all things family and goals. So that's my
you're
breakdown.
doing a lot of backwards
and it's just started.
It is.
So cute. So how has this affected you? You started this in November.
Yeah.
We're almost going into March here.
Yeah.
You have, 4 months under your belt?
I feel like for me, consistency has been the key. And I hear that from so many people. They just say, you just have to be consistent. You just have to stick with it. And eventually it's going to take you to amazing places, you know? And I just think that's true of any goal. Like if you just stick with it, even sometimes I'll show up and I look at things and I'm like, okay, that wasn't pretty. That wasn't my best. But I'm still showing up, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm still learning and growing. And I can't even imagine, you know, where I'll be in 5 years from now. You know, I'm sure even my my technology skills will be better, so it looks and is presented better. You know,
Absolutely.
You're doing
So
so fabulous for just coming out of the gate. I'm like, wow.
And then you're starting a podcast.
yeah,
Right, and it takes a
Awesome.
strong support system, I can imagine.
It
so
does.
a supportive husband
Yes.
and children too,
Yep.
right?
And my mom and my sister. Like I've done interviews where I call my sister up. I'm like, hey, can you take my kids? So they're not screaming in the background, and
that's
she'll
so
watch my
great.
kids for a minute. Like
Ashley,
I
we
just-
wish you the best. This
Thank
is
you.
like exciting because we're all
Yeah.
moms and we
Right.
want other women to feel empowered and
So many can
successful.
relate to it. It's a
But
good
also there's such
influencer
joy in
topic.
motherhood. I mean, there's just,
yeah,
it's just a good angle.
I know. I feel like the most important thing that I really want to highlight is that families first, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many women out there that are speaking like power to women, which I think is so wonderful, but sometimes I feel like the family gets forgotten. And that's one thing that I do not want to be forgotten in my account. I really want that to be clear. So.
Very
I
good.
love it.
Well, thanks
Love
again.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks
Good
for
luck.
having me.
There's more studio chatter coming up.